Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal project, and this is for Scrap FX. So this one actually went live yesterday on Scrap FX Creative Space on Facebook, and with Christmas and everything I haven't had a chance to edit the video, so here we go, this is it. I'm working in the Dina Wakley 6x6 white journal, and I haven't added any clear gesso to this page or anything like that to start off with, or white gesso. And I'm just going straight in and adding some collage paper. Scrap FX have loads of different wordy, texty collage papers on their site, and they are a great base for a journal page, a great way to get started. So here I'm just mixing up a couple of different ones. So there's one that's got like a typewriter type of font, and then a scripty one as well. And like I say, you can find these on Scrap FX. I'm just using some matte medium to stick these in place. So one thing that I have found, and I'm guessing some of you will already know this, is that matte medium does act a little bit like a gesso on a background. And because I'm sticking down quite a lot of collage paper, I wasn't too worried about not adding any gesso on my page first. So the matte medium that I'm adding will behave a little bit like that. Also, this white journal is great for doing kind of watery colour backgrounds because the paper is a watercolour type of paper. It's just not very good if you want to do the technique where you lift paint through the stencil using a baby white, because the paper pulp can start to come away. So because I'm going to be doing quite a watery background, it didn't really matter that I hadn't added any gesso on there. So I'm using one of Dina's most recent brushes. These ones are fabulous for doing these kind of watercolour backgrounds because the brush itself holds a lot of water. So you can see I've only used a tiny bit of turquoise there, but I've been able to pull it out quite a long way using the water in the brush. And then I'm going in with Peacock and just pulling that down the page as well. So because the brush holds a lot of water, it's really nice and easy to blend those colours together. You can see at the top where the turquoise meets the peacock, they've kind of blended really nicely together. Yeah, so these brushes are lovely because they do hold quite a lot of water. Now I'm just lifting some of the excess off my page where some of the background colour's gone a bit dark. I wanted to keep this quite a quite light background really. So next I'm going in with Orchid, and again I'm just pulling that colour out a little bit just so that it blends in, getting some more water on my brush and just helping that to kind of blend up the page. You can see the tiniest bit of paint goes a long way. I am terrible for often putting too much paint out, but with that lovely big brush, with this kind of background, you don't need to. So this stencil is called the Abstract Stencil, and it's those lovely sort of almost like floral shapes you could use as really funky flowers, I guess. So I'm going in with turquoise and just keeping this background fairly subtle. I know what you're thinking. I don't often do subtle, but I was having one of those days where I felt like being more subtle. So that's starting to add a little bit more interest onto the background. So now I'm going in again with Peacock, and I'm using the arrows, mini arrows stencil, and doing my arrows all pointing into the centre of my journal. I didn't realise I'd done this. This must have been by accident, but it's all right, it works. So you notice that I've only used colours for stenciling that I had put in my background because I kind of wanted it all to be quite cohesive and work together. So now I'm going in with white mixed with a little bit of the peacock, and I'm using this Vision stencil, and it doesn't really show up brilliantly on the video, but it did create a really nice sort of pale text across the journal page, and I was quite happy with that. So going well with the subtle vibe so far. So these are the Bold Blooms by Michelle Logan, and I've cut out 4, and I've cut 1 in half to make an odd number so that I've got an odd number of flowers on my page. I'm going to be sticking these in place using clear glue and my little fine applicator nozzle. So I've stuck those down, and then I'm just going in with my pink Posca pen. This isn't a neon pink, it's just quite a bright pink. And I'm just adding some little touches of colour on these flowers as well. So they already have got some colour and pattern on there, but I just wanted to add a little bit more. And just using the Posca pen was a great way to do this. Not too much, just a few touches here and there. And then I'm just pulling it together again by just adding some little lines of pink too. And then I'm going in with a Neocolour 2 in another slightly different pink and just adding another touch of pink on these flowers as well. And then I'm adding in the stalks using a Posca pen, making that kind of 2 scribbly lines, so they're not super neat and they are meant to be sort of missing each other in places. It creates that kind of quite an artsy look, I think. Yeah, then I decided I was going to have some watermelon. One of my favourite things at the minute. And then I'm just using a water brush and I'm just water activating that Neocolour 2 and then lifting the excess off just to keep it a bit paler. So this is a stencil and mask set, and unfortunately I can't find what this is called because the website at Scrap-FX is down at the minute, but it's got lots of sort of abstract type floral and botanical shapes on it, and this worked perfectly for adding some sort of botanical elements underneath the leaves. So here I'm going in with olive and just trying to keep that quite pale, and just getting a little idea of those shapes on the bottom of my page. Trying to make sure that they come in at different angles as well, so they're not all just pointing up, just to create that extra feeling of movement and bit of interest too. So then I've just mixed a bit of peacock with the olive as well. I'm just popping out another one of the shapes. And I'm going to start overlapping and creating layers of these botanical shapes around the bottom of my flowers. And then just using up the paint that's left and adding some splatters on my page as well. Don't want to waste any paint, do we? So this is the alphabet stamp, and here I'm just stamping. I've got a piece of scrap paper that's left over, so I'm just stamping out the word bloom. And you can see I've made a mess over one of the O's there. So I'm going to cut these out individually, and then they're going to be stuck up at the top of my page. And then once they're stuck in place, I'm using a bit of blackberry, watered down, and I'm just adding a little colour wash over the top of those letters. And then a little bit of purple around them too. So next I'm going in with my signature dots, of course, I've got to do that with a white Posca pen. And then the final thing that I think really pulls this page together is using some white acrylic paint and a circle shape, and I'm just stamping some circles. So that kind of echoes the shape of the flowers, but also a bit of contrast with the rest of the page. We've got that white pop on there as well. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Sorry it's late going up. I hope you find some inspiration using these fabulous Scrap-FX products, especially the Bold Blooms by Michelle Logan. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.